Hey, what's up, guys? Spencer Rhodes here. So, we are 3 episodes into Season 9 of The Walking Dead at this point, and there is a famous comic moment that is on the horizon. It should happen this season. It should. I would be surprised if it was put off until Season 10, but I am, of course, talking about the 12 heads that are the 12 heads that are put on spikes, 12 characters that are killed by the Whisperers, the new enemy. And a lot of people are speculating as to who those characters will be. Will it still be 12? How many of them will be straight from the comics? How many main characters? How many recurring characters? How many background characters? We barely know. There's a lot of talk and a lot of speculation. And a chunk of these people believe that Tara is going to be one of the heads on spikes. I mean, why not? Rosita and Ezekiel are the big ones from the comics, but The Walking Dead has a history of switching things up, switching characters up, and some people believe that Rosita and Ezekiel's stories will be different enough from the comics that they won't even get their comic deaths. They will not be among the heads put on spikes, or maybe one of them will be, one of them won't be. Neither of them will be, because if Rick and Maggie are going to be gone, then maybe it makes sense for Ezekiel and Rosita to live longer than they did in the comics and be a part of Season 10, and their stories have been quite different. You know, Ezekiel is married to, or getting married to Carol, whereas in the comics he was with Michonne. Rosita, she had a big storyline with Eugene and Sadiq. They haven't even touched that. I don't think they're going to. So, yeah, it makes enough sense for, Rosita and Ezekiel to possibly survive having their heads put on spikes. Now, I personally believe that both Ezekiel and Rosita will get their comic deaths. As for Tara, Tara is a popular one because she's lived a long time. This is her 6th year on the show. That's pretty amazing. There are not a lot of characters that go 6 years straight on this show. Even Morgan never really went 6 years straight. He was in Season 1, Season 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then he left. And yeah, Tara's one of the longest lasting characters in the entire show. And you could argue that her story is sort of coming to a close, that her story arc has come full circle. In Season 7, she was all about getting revenge and getting people together to fight. She mostly wanted revenge on Dwight for killing Denise, and she was motivated by anger and rage and vengeance. And for a chunk of Season 8, about 3/4 of it, she continues to be motivated by these things, and she continues to just want to kill Dwight, sort of in a blind rage, even if it's detrimental to the group or it doesn't help anything. She just wants him dead. And then Dwight ends up having to escape and pretending to be a savior again, and can no longer help them that much, and Tara feels responsible, and she realizes that she was super angry the whole time. And then when Dwight shoots her with an arrow, she thinks she's going to die. She continues to blame herself and think that she deserves it, and then she lives, and then she says, look, I still hate Dwight, but I don't want Dwight to die. And that's kind of a full story arc. You could argue that she doesn't really have much left to offer. And it's true. In Season 9, she hasn't done much. She talked on the radio, and she wore those sunglasses again. So she's still being used for, like, comic relief and shit like that. But they could kill her off unless they give her a story that makes her relevant again, and they do it soon. I don't know what they're going to do with the character. Is she just going to stick around for the sake of sticking around? Are they going to sort of just keep her around this season, and then maybe Season 10 she becomes relevant and she has something to do? Is she going to have something to do later this season? Will she die? Will she be among the heads on spikes? It is really hard to say, because I feel like Tara is, one of the things about her character is that it's almost become a running gag with her. I remember when people were like, there is no way she will survive Season 6, and then they're like, oh, there's no way she will survive Season 7. And they're like, oh, well, it's Season 8, it's all out war, you gotta have deaths, it's gotta be Tara. And at this point, people might starting to be thinking, okay, well, she's just indestructible. they're never gonna kill her. She keeps surviving over and over and over again. Like, she's almost becoming the new Glenn. Like, they just keep surviving. You keep thinking they're gonna die, and then they don't. And then if we get to a point to where we're used to her, where we let our guards down, or where we just think that she's invincible and she'll be on the show for 20 seasons, that might be the moment where she dies, when the writers feel like we have our guards down. Because I feel like the last few years, the audience's guards, most of them, their guards have been up with her character. They expect her to die. I mean, her of all characters, the character that Glenn just rescued out of nowhere, and she was a part of the governor's army, and sometimes she's not that important. And I don't agree with like the blind hatred. I actually like her. I'm glad she's still alive. She's one of my favorite characters that's still alive. But that doesn't mean that I believe she'll live forever. I still think that she could die soon. I do believe it's possible that she could die in this season. Now, how likely? I don't know. I honestly, at this point, I could see her making it to season 10. And I'm not saying that because I have my guard down. Now, they could kill her. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked out of my wits if they killed her off. But like I said, a lot of people are switching her with Tara or switching her with Ezekiel. Now, they could kill all three. They could put all three of their heads on spikes and have the Whisperers kill all three of them. I mean, that would truly be a devastating blow to the main character, to the community, is to have Tara's head, Ezekiel's, and Rosita's heads on spikes. That would definitely be devastating. I think it's a bit much, especially if we're losing Rick and Maggie. So, like I said, I think Rosita and Ezekiel will, in fact, get their comic deaths. And I'll admit, a part of this is just because I don't want to be hopeful. I remember being hopeful with Abraham and Glenn, and Abraham and Glenn pretty much died like they did in the comics. Abraham was slightly different. That's it, really. He didn't live much longer than the comics. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. So with Rosita and Ezekiel, for one thing, I'm not quite as emotionally invested in them as I was with Abraham and Glenn. I don't think I like them as much. I like Rosita. I like Rosita a lot. I'm pretty emotionally invested in her. Maybe even more so than Glenn, or as much as Glenn. Abraham's my favorite character on the show, so that gives you some idea of my investment in his character. But a part of the reason why I think Rosita and Ezekiel will have their heads on spikes is because, like I said, I just don't want to hope. I just don't want to be hopeful. I just, if I'm wrong, then it's a happy kind of wrong. If I'm right, then at least I was prepared, at this very moment. Now, keep in mind, there's still not a few episodes, a lot of episodes left in the season, and I believe most of them will be before the 12 heads on spikes. I don't think they have time to get to it in the first half of the season, so I think that there is still enough time to sort of give me a better idea of who will die and who will live. Right now, it's very hard to say. The Walking Dead has a habit of setting up deaths. You can almost tell someone's about to die if they do the right thing, or they have a big moral upbringing, or just a moral change, or they're happy. If you watched season 6, did you see all the episodes where Abraham became really happy and this season Rick's very happy? We had that musical montage of him with Judith and Michonne. You can kind of tell the deaths are being set up. So, with Rosita and Ezekiel, their deaths haven't been set up that much. But it's also early in the season, so that might happen. And that might sort of help me actually figure out who will die and who won't die this season. But as it stands right now, I believe Ezekiel and Rosita will get their comic deaths. Please understand, it's not because I hate them. I love Rosita. Ezekiel's okay. And I like Tara. But I do think that Tara will cheat death once again. And season 10 might be the season where people are just like, she's indestructible. She's going to live forever. And then guess what? She dies. I think if she survives season 9, fans are going to start giving up on expecting her to die, because they've been doing it for 6 seasons. Once you get to season 10, you're just going to be like, oh, Tara's indestructible. Bam, she dies. I think they could do that. Remember, you got to save some characters for the Whisperer War. You can't just have everyone die from their heads on spikes. There's too many characters to do that with. So, yeah, I think Tara will live to season 10, and I think Rosita and Ezekiel will get their comic deaths. They will get their heads on spikes. Maybe some other minor characters, Scott, Barbara, Alden, Cal, maybe Cal or Eduardo. They could switch it up, have Cal live and Eduardo die. I shouldn't say that. Ronnie Hayes is a big fan of Eduardo. Like, he and the actor are friends. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Eduardo and Cal both survive to season 10. I am getting off topic, but altogether, I believe that Tara will not have her head put on a spike. I could be wrong. I think that Rosita and Ezekiel will get their heads on spikes. Tara will die in season 10 during the Whisperer War. Because by then, I think the audience, like I said, will let their guards down. They're finally just going to think, okay, this character's not dying, and that's when she's going to die. You can't just think about who's going to die in season 9, because the writers aren't just thinking about who's going to die in season 9. They're planning ahead of that. They're planning beyond that. The Walking Dead is not about to get canceled. So keep that in mind as well. I do believe that Tara will survive this season. Season 10 is a different story. Anyway, guys, with all that said, let me know what you think. Who do you think will have their heads put on spikes? Do you agree with me? Do you think Tara will survive? Just let me know. And as always, don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I am not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. For those of you that are already subscribed, I really appreciate you. We are at 155 right now. 155. That's pretty good. We've gotten a handful the last few days, and that is awesome. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing, guys. We are 45 away, because we're at 155. That's 45 away from 200. That's pretty close to 200, and I said I wanted to get to 200 in a few weeks, so we're getting there. We're inching to that goal. I mean, my goal. You guys probably don't care, but which is all good. I understand, and I appreciate what I have. But once we get to 200, and we will eventually, that's a fifth of a K. That's a fifth of the first 1,000. I cannot wait for that milestone. I cannot wait to get to the first 1,000. I believe we will get there. I have faith we will get there, but we got to take it one step at a time. So, 200 first, but we're close to 200, 45 away. Anyway, thank you for all the support, all of you. I appreciate every last bit of it, even to those of you that hate my channel and click the dislike button. I know there's a couple of you that love to do that every video. It's all good. Thank you to all of you for the support and the appreciation. You guys are the reason I continue to make videos. And with all that said, I'm going to stop ranting. I'm going to stop ranting. I'm obviously ranting because I can't even talk right now. And I am Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.